Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Arjuna and I have two wonderful guests, Marz and Yasmine. And today we have something super special and exciting to announce to all of you. And it is regarding wealth magic. Marz and Yasmine, could you go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Yasmine, why don't you please?
Hi, everybody. I'm Jasmine. I live in Texas and
Awesome.
I did Wealth Magic a year and a half ago, I believe so. Not totally sure, but it was a while ago.
Awesome. And Marz?
I'm Mars. Yeah, I'm the guy who's done wealth magic, and I live on Mars. Occasionally, I come to Earth and I say hello, and then I usually take my bags of money with me and go back to Mars, thanks to wealth magic.
Oh,
But Arjuna, thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah. So this is actually Mars's idea. That's my cat in the background. Mars's idea. So I appreciate you for allowing us to put this on my channel. But yeah, you want to go ahead and take the lead and run us through what topics you want to talk about, and then yeah, we'll jump into the conversation.
Yeah. Well, I think that the topic of wealth magic in general is a very provoking conversation for many people. The idea of doing it seems sexy, and some people long for what that idea even means, to be wealthy, to live a life of wealth. And I'm one of those people who's a living testament of it. I really appreciate the Gallery of Magic and Damon Brand, and the entire team at the Gallery of Magic, who all the resources that went into this, because this thing is really potent. For someone like me, this thing has changed my life. It's helped me achieve milestones and goals that I never thought I could ever achieve. It's helped me get closer to my daughter, improve relationships with my family, and I owe everything to this book. And I'm here to tell you today that if you do this book, it will change your life. And I think, like, over the course of the next few videos that we're going to be shooting, we're going to be talking about these rituals in depth, and we're really going to deep dive into not only the experience and the rituals and what to expect, but we're really going to be diving into the symbolism and what it is you're actually doing. These are sophisticated, and these are packs designed to bring you wealth and to allow wealth to come into you and through you. And a lot of people aren't ready to make that decision. They're afraid, especially when we're talking about rituals like the second working, which everyone is all too familiar about. But it all starts with the daily practice, and I think the daily practice is probably the most important component. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'll chime in on this, Arjuna here. So the daily practice, I'm 100% on board with what you said. It's like the foundational building block. I'm such a firm believer in subconscious programming. And before the rituals even start, and before anything remotely magical even happens, they're gearing you, Damon Brand, and probably the people who helped him write this book, they're helping the reader gear themselves to prepare their thought process, and a daily practice to where you can show yourself that you can commit to something before the magic even happens, so to speak. So I'm like 100% on the same page when it comes to that, how the importance of it.
Absolutely, and like, and Yasmine, I know you've had your round of wealth magic, and this is all too familiar to you, but I'm
Yes.
wondering if you have like any thoughts on like what the questions of the daily practice, you know, actually means to you, and can you walk me through like, you know, how you felt, and you know, sorry, one more, what were like some of the benefits that you experienced?
Yes. So what I would say to that is, what they are doing is, instead of just doing this, jumping right into the magic, and I've had the same experience as you guys, it changed my life forever, because before I would make money,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes a lot, lose it, and I had all these issues in my head about money. But ever since Wealth Magic, I've been able to keep money for the first time, and like
Nice.
Yep.
accumulate, save, add to my savings, and keep doing that. And not like, it's different now. I am nowhere near to where I was before I did Wealth Magic. So now, if we're talking about the daily practice,
So like,
hold on.
so like, oh, so go ahead, sorry.
Yes, so the daily practice is like a mindset shift. So
Yeah.
instead of just jumping right into the magic, just as Arjuna said, it's doing something to your subconscious mind, meaning it gives you a mindset shift, because by asking those questions, you are recognizing how the abundance that is already around you. And by tapping into that, you are tapping into the frequency that you can manifest wealth from.
Definitely.
I absolutely agree. Well said.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I want to chime in on this real quick, and then I want to say, like, because you were talking about tapping into a new frequency, a different frequency, and I think the way that these questions are worded is such that, because it's not asking, like, or it's not stating an affirmation, so to speak, like I am wealthy or I have become wealthy, because all the new
Right.
age love and light stuff, all that stuff preaches those affirmations, but this takes it to the next level. And they mention it in this book and also in other books that intensity is what actually causes magic to happen. So by asking these questions and also uh, forcing myself to come up with a mental image or an emotional state where I am so in awe of the situation. Like I could be just driving, but then I
Yes.
switch my mindset into a state of awe. And then I ask, how did I come to be so wealthy? And then all of a sudden, like I'm literally feeling every fiber of my being is really in awe, not just at the question,
Yes.
but
Yes.
at everything around me too. I'm looking at the road while I'm driving, and the road looks so beautiful because I'm tapping into that level of frequency.
Yes. So the thing with affirmations is that there is a place for them, but there's a different place for them. Excuse me. Affirmations you should be using when you're going to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. But since we're doing the daily practice, we're like out and about. It's just doing a different thing, in my opinion, because you are tapping into the energy of gratitude. And by that, you are evoking an emotion. And like you described, Arjuna, you are present and you are centering yourself, and you're looking around, seeing the beauty, and that evokes an emotion. And emotional transformation, as we know, that's all the, that's how a lot of these rituals work to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. No, the it's definitely an important distinction to be clear about. You know, these are not affirmations, these are questions. You are asking yourself these questions, and they're open-ended. You're not answering them.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, the question I think a lot of people is, well, what does this do? Personally, like, I think it opens your mind up to possibility.
Yes.
And yeah, It opens your mind up to possibility because it allows you to find a sensation within you that changes your thought processes. You know, this whole emotional transmutation. But it allows you to do that, and the result is euphoric.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if the daily practice could be a drug, I'd be addicted.
Yeah.
Excuse me, eating macaroon.
So about that feeling, because that's kind of what I was referring to. But you're right; it is actually pretty euphoric when that sense of awe that I was in when I was doing the daily practice. It's been, just to be clear, it's been at least 2 years since I did it the last time, and I think I did it for the first time 3 years ago. So it's been a long time. So I'm trying to like recall these instances that I was experiencing, but it is very euphoric in the sense that that sense of awe and sense of beauty. And not only that, but since the wealth magic was my first magical practice, real magical practice,
Oh, wow.
I carried that with me to all of the other workings that I've done from different authors and different, like, I've taken that with me. And that sense of awe, like, I've learned that Damon Brand and even other Gallery of Magic authors, they kind of use that in different ways in their books to have an emotional state. And you mentioned it, Marz, it's the emotional transmutation. You take what it is, take something that is, you tap into that energy because it is so abundant in that moment, and then you use it for a different purpose because you're trying to generate an energy source. You got the energy source, and then you're channeling that energy towards something.
That's exactly it.
Yes. It's powerful stuff. Very, very powerful.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you don't need to be wealthy to do the daily practice. You don't need to be poor to do the daily practice either. You can find you can do this ritual at any moment of time. I actually, did the ritual today for the first time in about a year, and it was amazing. Because there's nothing like taking a moment out of your day to actually find something uniquely wonderful, and something that can, for a moment in this cruel world that we live in, right, a moment of delight and joy, and transmute this experience. Because I come from the Kabbalistic perspective of life, where we live in a matrix,
Yes.
and this anything that the universe
I think your mic went out.
can
Yes.
give you that's beautiful.
You were gone.
Sorry. Yes, if I could find a way to transmute it and transmit it into the world, then that's the way to go. My apologies.
Yeah, no worries. I certainly agree with you. So I want to see if it's possible, before we get even further into the daily practice, because I'm sure the people listening might be curious if they haven't started at all. I'm curious, would you both be willing to kind of tell a story about before you did wealth magic, not necessarily the financial part, but like your thought process leading up to it, what made you make the decision to go for it, and what your long game is?
So personally, mine, when what actually like pushed me to do wealth magic was I was going through a really tough time. I was a real estate agent. I ran a business. And it was a real estate brokerage, and it was a startup, and like, I was struggling, man. I was struggling. It was really, really bad. I could barely afford my rent.
Oh, God.
Oh my God. I could barely afford to, oh my God, man. Wow. It feels like night and day, because like, it's so different now, you know? I struggled a lot, and there were days where I contemplated, you know, giving up, because I didn't see a way out, and no matter what I tried to do, nothing worked. And then, like, I stumbled upon, Gallery of Magic, and, like, I found, like, the 72 Angels of Magic, Damon Brand. I was like, I started to see, a light at the end of the tunnel there, because I felt like, I could have a little bit more grip and control of what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, the Magical Cash book, I mean, forget it. I had to buy another book to make another Magical Cash book, because my expenses were ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And Nikita really helped. I had a 100% success rate with Nikita, but it was the same thing over and over again. It was, I needed money. I hit a jam. I needed to, like, do a ritual, and it was always very time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I said to myself, this has got to change here. I got to figure out, why, I'm entitled to live a comfortable life. I'm entitled to be happy. I'm entitled to provide my family with a better roof over their head. I want these things. And one of the things that, like, really pushed me was, like, so at the time there was, like, there was these Facebook groups, the loyal friends of the Gallery of Magic and all that stuff like that, that they put, they were pushing this book and stuff like that. And I became interested in it because one of the members, I won't say any names, was doing in, the experience that she had shared. At the time, she explained that she was going on her second time, and she explained this, very lavish lifestyle that she was living as a result of it. And I thought it was interesting, and I did some more, I did some research in the book, and then, I pulled the trigger on it. I didn't hesitate. I thought that nothing could be worse than where I was, at that moment of time. And I don't, at that point in time, for me, it was just like, I don't care what like I have to do. I need to turn this around. My wife is going to leave me. My kids are going to hate me. I can't even, like, I'm not, this is not happening. My life is not working. And
Wow.
as soon as I did this book, and as soon as I, like, dedicated my life to wealth, to building wealth, to the very, like, definition of, like, what wealth is, once I started modeling that, I started thinking differently. A couple of things I noted when I did this book was that I started having more worth, finding more value for myself. So meaning I had more understanding of what I was worth to people. And this helped me in, as I navigated in my career change. This helped me, understand, like, what my expectations could be. I had a career change when I did this, and it was, that's another story in itself. I could go on and on about that. But in essence, like every person who does magic, you do magic from a place of pain. And much like emotional transmutation is, you convert that pain into positivity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what wealth magic did for me.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's a great story.
Yeah. What about you, Yasmine?
Yes, like I said, it's for years I was either bawling out of my ass or struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how to say this. It's just, well, let's just say I work in sales, and I would make really good money sometimes, and then sometimes nothing at all, lose everything, and it was always this vicious cycle with me, always.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly something was off with my energy, something was not working. And what got me to start Wealth Magic, I can't even say, I saw it somewhere on Facebook probably. And I mean, I'm very experimental, I would say. So I was like, oh, that sounds great. Yes, I want to manifest wealth, like real wealth. Is a great goal. It's a very big goal for me, very important. So let me try. What do I have to lose? And I'm naturally a very, very committed person. So it wasn't difficult for me to, follow through. Because a lot of people don't even finish this book. That's
Mm-hmm.
the truth. I know some people where I've not, and that's just a damn shame because they are missing out big time
Mm-hmm.
finishing. Anyways, so yes, so I guess I saw it somewhere on Facebook and was like, let me do this.
That's cool. So you okay?
Yeah, it's never been the same for me either. It's changed my life as well. I
Man, that's awesome.
have effects from it now. I plan to repeat it eventually, but yeah, I'm still having effects from it now, working on new business and going well. So yeah.
That's so cool.
Very
Both of you
happy.
have.
Very happy for you, Yasmine.
Yeah, same here. Both of you have excellent stories, and I have a very similar story. So I was in a group of it's like a mastermind group, but it was just a bunch of us who really enjoyed subliminal audios, and we talked about all kinds of stuff like magic, pheromones, subliminals, all that good stuff. So somebody brought up wealth magic, and I looked into it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I didn't even think twice. So I got the book. I started doing it. I didn't hear. I think I was blessed with not having heard the the people talking about how scary the second working is because I went into it completely blind. I just opened the book. I started doing it. I was like, okay, cool. I'm at the daily practice. Let me start doing the daily practice. Mentally, I always knew that I wanted to be something more in this life. I always had this idea that I will be successful. Like it is in my path. And I also knew in my heart that that I have to put in the work in order to achieve that. Like it won't show up one day out of the blue and bam, here I am wealthy. Like it just doesn't work like that. I have to put in the legwork. And part of what I saw this book as being was like if I was cutting down a tree with an axe, doing this book, doing this program is like sharpening that axe to where I'm properly able to
Yeah.
go after business decisions. I'm able to manage money in my life. Both of you talked about managing money in your personal life, like outside of just creating wealth. It's about managing wealth too. So I
Yes,
didn't
I absolutely agree with that. I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but yes, I absolutely agree. That's a huge component.
For sure. And it's something that I hope people don't really miss that point because it's one thing to have a lot of money coming in, but if it's going out just as quickly, then there's not really an opportunity to enjoy that wealth. I mean, maybe there is, maybe there is. I can't speak to everybody's personal experience, but a lot of the times for me, enjoying the wealth is like stretching that dollar even further. Because I'm gonna be honest, like when I first did this, and I was even after a year after doing this, I was not what I would call wealthy. I was significantly better off than when I started, but I was not like in my true definition of wealth. And still to this day, I am not in my true definition of wealth. I still think it is a work in progress, and I think it's a 20-year, 30-year, 50-year game for me. Wealth Magic played a part twice, and that's kind of like where I started from.
Yeah. No, yeah, and totally agree with that. Like, it also, I think Wealth Magic also has a unique way of um um building off what you define as wealth.
Hmm.
Yes, very
And
true.
yeah, and so that's why, it's a very common pattern to see people do Wealth Magic twice, because in essence, once you've done wealth magic once, something like sort of unlocks in your mind, and you're like, my definition of wealth has changed a little bit. And, I would like to own real estate. I'd like to have stocks, and I'd like to invest in stocks. I'd like to, have a Roth IRA or a 401k. And, I want, and I guess what I'm trying to say is it's interesting that like, it's also another like discussion I guess we could have, but is a second round of wealth magic even needed? Is it worth it? Is it redundant? Again, a discussion for a later time, because we want to stay on topic. But the whole focus of like doing wealth magic twice, for some people, it's to reinforce what they really want. And they seek to do the book again to kind of say, okay, like, this is the idea that I had, but this is actually like, I've thought about it now, and this is what I really want. And like, it's just, the whole process is just interesting, and it's unique. And I don't know, I thought that was just worth mentioning.
Yeah, for sure. It's really cool. So like at the beginning, when I first started doing it, like I didn't know what to expect. Like I said, I went into it blind. So, real quick, I want to mention this. I know you said we stay on topic, but I kind of want to touch on something future just for a second, because if anybody else is researching wealth magic and is seeing those stories about the second working and it's stopping you from wanting, like if it's making you afraid of wanting to jump in headfirst because of the disruption, I want to tell from firsthand experience, that it should not be anything to worry about, because that is one of the things that is, it is what it is. It is par for the course. So
Right.
that I just wanted to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, there's like, another thing too is like, when I did wealth magic the first time, I did it with a small little group of people. And I think there was like 5 of us, and I was the only one left in the group that did it, or that essentially survived after the second working. Everyone dropped off like flies.
That's such
And
oh my God.
no, and it's a common pattern too. Look,
Mm-hmm.
the second working is tough, and you got to have balls of steel to do it. And I commend you if you do it. If you do it and you can get through it, the rest is easy. If you're listening, if you're considering doing wealth magic, if you're concerned about the second working, I can guarantee you that your life right now, if you're even considering the book, could be no better than what you're going to go through with the second working.
Mm-hmm.
Consider the second working, a vacation in terms of, what you're, no, because the thing is if you really think about it, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You're going to suffer. Yes, you're going to suffer. Is it needed? Yes. Is it important? It's absolutely important. And look, the road to wealth, the road to being rich, and the road to money, it was never meant to be easy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think part of what makes wealthy people wealthy is because they're willing to do things that other people aren't willing to do. And my definition of that includes doing a 6-month working on wealth magic, when, I mean, not every successful person does wealth magic or even magic in general, but the wealthy people that I know, the successful people that I do know, they do things that other people won't do. So if I do things other people
Exactly.
won't do, then I should also have some success, or at least marginally better success than my peers.
Yeah, so true. Because, and also to me, I don't have a lot of, I don't know, I just think these people are stupid because, look, like what you just said, that's just so true. wealthiest people in the world, they are like that because they do things that other people won't do. And I mean, the thing with Gallery of Magic is those rituals, they don't take long. They don't take long. So if you can't, you say you want to be wealthy, you want to be a millionaire, you want to own big houses, whatever, swim in money, have luxury, you can't even commit to 20 minutes a day or even less.
Less, yeah.
And if considering that if you start in business, you're going to have to work, you may have to work, you might or may not, but you might have to work super hard and like late hours, whatever. And that's so far beyond what you have to do with this wealth magic. It's just maybe some rituals can maybe just only take you 10 minutes. Maybe sometimes 15, 20, I don't know, but like it's nothing in the grand scheme of things, especially if you think of what the reward is. And with the second working, yeah, it sucks, but the reward of finishing all those 5 months is so big that, oh, come on now.
Yeah. The question I would ask is, how bad do you want what you want? Are you willing to
Exactly.
against all odds, like I'm going to do this no matter what? And that's part of like this 6-month program. It shouldn't be intimidating, because any wealthy person is willing to do whatever it takes to reach their goals. So for me to shift my mindset to, oh, okay, I'll do whatever I need to hit those goals. It's like being in line with not only what wealth magic states, but what wealth in general states.
Yes, exactly. That's why I'm saying in the grand scheme of things, this is not, you can't even commit 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's actually useful to carry on in every aspect of life. These afformations, like the daily practice or something in, like I say a type of prayer every single day, twice a day. And it's kind of like an affirmation, but it's kind of like a prayer, but it's like a mix between all these things. And I don't know if it consciously is still having an impact on my life today, but it's just something that I do. I do it no matter what. And if I forget, in the rare instance that I forget, I do it at a later time. And it's like over the past 6 years, I don't think I've missed more than 10 days total. And it's just part of what I do. And like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it all starts with the daily practice. You know.
It does. It sure does.
It says
what
in the book. Oh, go ahead.
No. What were you gonna say?
Well, I have the book open right now, and in the section of the daily practice that I'm looking at, I just turn my page to it randomly, and the first thing it says is, ask sincerely as though these are genuine questions to yourself. Do not just say the words to yourself like a mantra. Really ask, question yourself, but do not attempt to answer. So, like you were mentioning earlier, Marz, you said it's an open-ended thing that you're not supposed to answer. What that is like to me is you ask a question and then you're enabling yourself to invite the response into existence, but not answering it actually lets the universe do its work, and it allows any path in existence to manifest itself. So you don't like resort yourself to one path, because something out of left field might come, and that could be your path to wealth.
Absolutely. No, that's definitely, there's many interpretations, but I think that is really good. And you know, my interpretation is pretty close to yours. I mean, I believe, you know, like I said, it's just this idea of being open to opportunities. You know, if you can find, you know, I don't have the book in front of me, but I know that actually, do I have the book? Oh, the book is right here on my shelf. Hold on a second.
Cool.
I just gotta dust it off, but yeah. Oh yes. Wow.
I know, right?
Man.
That's the same experience I had when I lifted it.
Okay. Daily practice. There's a part in the book where in the daily practice where he's talking about how like he once saw um, a decomposing rabbit or
Mm-hmm.
something like that,
Oh
with
yeah.
like maggots, and he went he went pretty graphic and how he described it, and he said that he was able to find beauty in this decomposing animal. And you know, like the the normal way of life, you know, the routine, the get up, the go to work, the go to sleep, the daily grind, it's just, it's such that you miss those things, you miss those opportunities to
Right.
see
Yeah.
beauty, to see genuine beauty. And if you can willfully tell yourself to focus on one particular moment, I believe that the chemical reaction that happens internally is what basically changes so okay, so to kind of back this concept up a little bit further before I finish my thought here, there's a scientist by the name of he's from Japan, I think, Mikamoto or something like that, Yakamoto or whatever. This scientist believed that you can transmute thoughts into water,
Oh
and when you
yeah.
froze them, you looked into a specific microscope, and you were able to see patterns in the ice, right? And so
Yeah.
if you wrote mean and horrible things, or if you even spoke to the water a certain way, the patterns in the crystals looked very irregular and indiscernible and undecipherable. They looked ugly. But if you looked at, like, if you spoke and transmuted words of kindness and humility and and honor, and generally anything positive, you could you could see some very nice beautiful crystals and these amazing patterns. And the reason why this study, at least for him, was so important, this scientist, was because 70% of your body is made out of water.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And so if you can take that thought just a step further here into the daily practice, and you can really think about what those thoughts that you're transmuting into your body is actually doing, you're really, if you really want to like take the symbolism a step further, what you're really doing is reprogramming yourself to allow wealth to flow into you and through you. And the moment of doing the daily practice is merely just it's just a vehicle to allow this to happen. That's what my thoughts are on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I'm definitely on that. I agree with that too. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I remember seeing something on the Discovery Channel or something many years ago, maybe 10 years ago. And that's part of the thing that sparked me into this whole journey in the first place. Not really magic yet, but like consciously manipulating my own thoughts and using thoughts consciously to impact stuff. So I'm so glad you mentioned that, because that's a lot of the foundation of what I believe in spirituality in the first place comes from that guy and his research on water crystals. So you can, what I take that to mean is very similar to you, is like you can program every molecule of your own body. And if every molecule of your own body is programmed to behave a certain way, then over time, the entire vessel, the whole body itself will also be programmed to be that way. And that's like purely subconscious, because you're not in control of your cells. You're only in control of your conscious and your body. So when the each cell does it as well, it's like taking it to a whole nother level. So I also see in Wealth Magic, the place that you're talking about, he's talking about looking at beauty, and he says mostly he prefers to look at conventional beauty like people, trees, rivers, clouds, etc. But then he says like he once took joy from seeing that disturbing image. And it's crazy because you can see it in anything. He's hitting home that you can see the beauty in anything. You can be out in the middle of traffic having a bad day, and then you can see the beauty in that, and then bam, you could do the daily practice right then and there with that beauty.
Yes.
Right.
It's so beautiful.
For sure. And then he also mentions things like there are people who, I'm guessing there are people like this because he's talking about it. And in many books, there are people who will have trouble visualizing. So even for people who have trouble visualizing, there's a very specific way that he demonstrates that you can do this. Like he says, imagine you've been deprived of senses for a year. Imagine if you could not see, hear, touch, taste, or smell anything for a year. And then imagining the feeling that you would have after bringing those senses back after a long time of not having those senses. He's like guiding you into how to conjure up that feeling of beauty. So there's so many different ways to do it.
Yeah, no, that and the way he explained it in the book, that's that bit that you just explained there, instrumental in helping me really hone in on the absolute science of the daily practice, because it's really a science. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of skill that goes into doing it. If you want to do it properly.
Yeah, for sure. So that's pretty much all I have on the topic. Is there anything y'all want to share and like run through additional things?
I will quickly say, yeah, this was a great topic. I think that this will probably spark some more conversation in the group on Facebook, and it's really exciting to see some of the people on Facebook and the group, stepping up and helping out the newcomers who are coming into the group with their questions and stuff like that. I think that as we continue to go along here, this is going to get more and more exciting. And for someone like me who's not going to be doing the book again, I don't even plan on ever opening the book to physically do those rituals. For someone like me, though, I can really appreciate being a part of this side of the table, in spreading the knowledge and the wisdom to other people out there, in ways that inspire them to take control of their life and take control of their financial situation, to essentially grab the bull by the horns and declare that, you were gonna have the life that you have destined to live. And we're all winners. If you're alive, if you made it outside of the womb, you're a winner.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think that I think everyone's entitled to this. And there's what am I trying to say? There's a club on the other side. Essentially there's a door that you have to open to reach this inner club. Okay, this society of people who have done this, who have understand it, who have understood, what it's like to reach this, the pains, the struggles. And I think that if you reach this point, if you can get past the second working at least, and you can reach the point of finishing this book, I promise you, I can guarantee you that it will be the biggest milestone of your life. My word. So that's all I gotta say.
Awesome.
Great. Yeah, it was great talking to you guys. I really enjoyed this, and I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, I'm so happy you both made it on here. I'm so happy, Marz, you asked us to do this. This is like something really incredible. Like touching this book out for the first time in 2 years brought back so many feelings. And I'm like looking through the daily practice, and I know we just opened up a crazy rabbit hole for a lot of other people. And I'm glad we just keeping it to the first part of the book right now, so we can get people's thoughts, feedbacks, and kind of steer the next episode, so to speak. And we can maybe have additional topics. And yeah, I'm super excited. So thank you.
Yeah, no, definitely, me too. And I think that if you're listening to this, I think the next one we're going to be doing is the first working. So if you got anything that you want to contribute, if you have a question, a burning desire, or anything it is, please bring it forward, and we're happy to ask. We're happy to elaborate and talk a little bit more about what you want to know.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We can have it question and answer, and then sharing our experience. So, well, once again, both of you guys, I appreciate you so much. And to all the listeners, stay tuned for next time. So that's it from now. Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.